All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm Patrick Washington, CEO and co-publisher of the Dallas Weekly. With us today, we have Jerod Couch, Brittany Bluitt, and Byron Hardy, all of whom are producers and contributors to the show Washed, which is a brainchild of Mr. Couch. We had done a story previously about the first season. We're now in season 2. There have been a lot that's happened since then, including a few Emmys, I think. So let's get into it. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
So I have a media background. I'm not like, Steven Spielberg, but I do understand the levels of production. And for this show, which I can personally relate to, having a quarter life crisis, waking up like, what the hell's going on with my life? Where did the first production ideas come from season 1 to season 2? Obviously, season 2 was your intro. Now we're in season 1 was your intro. Season 2 is now the continuation. Tell us a little bit about just the process, the ideas, and some of those, how that happened.
I would say season 1 was a single character lead, and it was the quarter life crisis from an urban male perspective. And that's what we explored in season 1. And that idea came from inspiration from my own life. I was just entered my 30s. I had gotten an MBA. I left a creative job with the Texas Rangers and then found myself in a business role. That lasted all of a year. So I went from a skyrise office to the unemployment line. And I was at a situation, I was like, whoa, this isn't where I envisioned myself when I was a kid at 30, which 30 is a good mile marker when you're trying to, when you're a kid, you're like, by 30, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be a millionaire. All these things, you wake up at 30 and you're like, I'm still dreaming. I still feel young at heart. So that's kind of the impetus of the story. And then, and the name Washed is a social media term short for Washed Up. The initial name of the show was Quarter Life Crisis. That's too long. It really doesn't make sense math-wise because you'd live to be 120 if that was your quarter life at 30. So we went with Washed, short for Washed Up. And then in season 2, we actually moved away from the single character lead and made it an ensemble because that experience is not just a male experience. It's a shared experience across our society with gender and race, and we have an ensemble cast, and Mr. Hardy plays Eric, was one of the favorite characters in season 1, but he was in a supporting role, so he catapulted to the lead character of that ensemble, which now we have 4 stories. And then Brittany, who plays Claire, she's new to season 2, and she plays, she is the boss. She is a C-suite executive. So we explore a lot of these characters that are going through this quarter life crisis, feeling washed, chasing their dreams from multiple angles in season 2. Whether it's Eric, who plays a drug dealing bookworm who doesn't necessarily want to be a drug dealer, but found himself there by the zip code lottery. And he finds himself in too deep in a profession he didn't want. And then Brittany, she is the boss of our character that wants to get to the C-suite, but has some life decisions to make because she's also 35 and hasn't started a family yet. And we know pregnancy gets more difficult every year after 35. So we have a lot of dynamics going on in season 2.
I see. Well, let me ask some of these actors about their roles and how they've been preparing. So let's start with Byron. So from season 1 to season 2, like we said, you've become sort of a lead. What's been the prep? Have you just been having quarter life crises and saying, I'm going to bring all that to this role? Or was there some other research that was put into a place?
So I'm actually a soft retired hip hop artist. And I think a lot of the washed feeling, washed emotions, like I draw from is kind of how I felt towards the end of music, where it's like, this is a young man's game. I'm still doing this. Do I really want to keep doing this? What else can I do? And I think like that was my attachment to the character, is saying like these two things are a lot alike. So I think that helped with my preparation. I'm also part of the writing team, so I've been there with the story from the beginning. So I probably had close to the most time to prepare of any actor, which thank you, Couch, because I'm not an actor by trade. But given enough time and just enough time to go through all of the variables and things that may be going on in this person's head, it allowed me to bring them to life a lot better this time around. Patrick, you muted yourself.
Thank you so much. Brittany, what about you? So you're playing the aspiring professional woman, if you will. What experience have you drawn from that, and what have you brought to this role that you could say has affected?
Well, let's see. Preparing for the role, it was a little hard, but it wasn't too hard. I just kind of took from other female actresses that I know played kind of like the boss archetype, like Taraji P. Henson when she was in Think Like a Man, or Meryl Streep when she did Devil Wears Prada. I kind of took a lot of different characters and I kind of morphed them together, and I kind of tried to become my own boss. I don't know.
You gotta tell the coffee story.
Huh?
You gotta tell them about the coffee and the running and.
Oh yeah. So we had to really sit with our characters for a while and kind of develop. Oh, the baby. Sorry, I'm having a baby. Okay. I had to go through a little bit of character development, so I had to think about, Claire, what does she do on a daily basis? Like when she wakes up, what's the first thing she does? Like first thing she does is, she makes her coffee, she watches CNN for probably like 30 minutes to an hour. Then she runs. So I actually did all of those things. I would wake up. I'm not a CNN person at all. I actually don't watch the news. It's very depressing. So I would turn on CNN. I would watch it. I would, drink my coffee in the morning. I would go to the track. I would run. I would get myself in the mindset of Claire and become her. So when I got on set, I took on this whole different persona. And then, of course, when I, put my wig on, my auntie wig, I really tapped into her character a little bit more. So it just kind of, when you prepare, you kind of become that person. So like I have a little bit of Claire within me, a little every day when I'm doing certain things or trying to just accomplish something. Claire is that get her done type of female. She don't play no games. So I take her with me everywhere I go. Hopefully
Awesome.
That answers your question.
Yes, it did. What has been some of the reaction from not only your character roles, but the show itself? Let's start with Jerod. Like, what has been some of the reaction from season 1 to season 2? And as far as the characters go, the actors, have you gotten any feedback from the characters you're playing?
Yeah, so the feedback has been tremendous. We had a lot of success in season 1. We won Dale's Small But Mighty Award. We were nominated for Best Comedy at the Indie Series Awards, and we actually won our Audience Choice Award at the Hip Hop Film Festival in Harlem, New York. And then from the fans, when you go on Amazon and you look at the reviews, and they have these keywords that pop up in the reviews most common, and it's hilarious, well written, authentic, real to life. And that's kind of a common theme we get from folks, is that we're telling real, authentic stories, and we have clever jokes. It's not just slapstick. And I will say, give you a little sneak peek, the show gets a little more dramatic in season 2. It still has a lot of funny in it, but we get a lot more dramatic, especially as the season progresses. And
It's dark.
Yeah, it gets dark. And then I will say we had a premiere in Dallas in January, right before COVID hit. We got lucky, we timed it. So we were able to have that experience and that moment in life. And to see the jump in production value and the acting ability. So we brought out a new director of photography. So in season 1, I was director and director of photography. Never do that, aspiring filmmakers, unless you have to, and that's what I had to do. But we brought somebody on, Jamario Washington, and he's so much better than me as a director of photography, and he's such a rising star in the business. And then with the actors, we brought on, so because we have an ensemble, we brought on 4 new reoccurring roles, substantial actors. And we had over 150 people inquire to our casting director, Tanya Holloway. And we had a casting call, and we, all day, just people running in and running out. The 4 people that came on as for those roles, are so phenomenally good. Like, they did such an amazing job. Like, I can't say enough about Brittany, because Brittany is the total opposite of her character, right? She is not Claire, but she became Claire when she was on set. And so that's kind of the feedback we got from the fans after the premiere, and then from season 1 and seeing season 2 is just this we jumped the Grand Canyon as far as like production value on all facets, and I'm just extremely proud of the team.
Yeah. Thought we talked about them long-winded answers, man.
Okay, man. I got one to say.
I like them though. They keep the video going. So for the actors, what have you heard from the audience, the team, the Amazon people, anyone about what the show is and how it's being received?
It's funny. Like Couch talks about getting the feedback about my character being one of the favorites, and I'm just still looking for the receipts because ain't nobody told me nothing. But I mean, overall, I think the show's been really well received. All of those that we presented it to, we're super excited about being able to show all of the different ways in which we stepped up, whether that's from writing to lighting to, the overall visual, to the way it sounds. I serve an audio role as well, and that was one of the main things we wanted to do for season 2 was just get it sounding better. Like that's been like some of the stuff I've been most proud of. And it's just, going back and kind of addressing those criticisms, the constructive criticisms. Like I don't really go out seeking praise. Like I just want to know how I can make it better. And so, I think as a team, that's what we all set out to do. But, I hear that my guy got good reviews. I just.
And Brittany, what about you?
Well, I'll start with this. I was a part of the group of people who really said so many good things about Watched in season 1, because I didn't, of course, come in until season 2. So when I first saw it, I was just like, I see tremendous potential in this production. And I said, I have to be a part of this. I have to be a part of this project. Like, there's nothing like this coming out of Dallas. And so I almost didn't audition because I was kind of in a little bit of a funk, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, even though I'm, at the time I was 27 going on 28. And I was just kind of down. And then I just got up, went to the audition, killed it, obviously. And being a part of season 2, I just kind of saw a growth in myself, and other people who watched me on screen, they told me the same thing, even though I didn't really believe them at first. And then when it came to the premiere, and everyone saw my character, they were like, yo, you bodied that. You were absolutely amazing. I was like, really? Well, thank you. And I just, that's what I wanted. I wanted people to see me in a way that they've never seen me before, because I'm kind of the introverted, kind of shy, standoffish type of person. And Claire is just kind of bold and, in your face, But yeah, I've from season 1 to season 2, I've heard nothing but good things, especially with the premiere. So I can't wait for people to see the rest of season 2, because I think it's gonna be dope.
Okay, cool. And so go ahead.
I was gonna say, and if you want to know how good Brittany was at her audition, that role was originally written as a man.
That's right.
And we didn't change any of the dialogue.
And if I can add on to that, Brittany helped me grow as a director, because it was written for a male, but also we were like, all right, there's a lot of female talent. Let's see what it would sound like. And in my, everybody has their own prejudices and their stereotypes. When I think of a CEO, at least before this, was like, okay, I need a strong, tall, kind of, a male, or that kind of imposing figure. And when I first saw Brittany, I was like, the camera was shot wide, and she's small in stature, and I'm like,
She's just sitting on a stool in the middle of the whole screen.
Then she sent back her callback audition tape, and I was like, yo, that, she killed the audition tape. And I want to thank Ashley Lee, one of our writers, for like calling me on my BS and saying, no, really, really consider it. And then when I really, that callback tape, I was like, forget what I thought. This is it.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. I'd like you to talk a little bit about. You okay, Brittany?
I'm so touched.
I'd like you to talk a little bit about just a little bit of the mindset that it comes with making an independent project, especially being in Dallas. A lot of shows shot here, go back out to Hollywood, same as Louisiana, but you've actually succeeded in creating a hometown media brand. So can you speak a little bit about just the process of financing yourself, moving to Amazon, and all that? Because I think that is something that the young filmmakers here, especially who think they have to leave or have to go grind it out in New York somewhere, that I think they need to hear that story.
There's unique stories to be told here. There's authentic stories. There's different looks, different feels. If you watch a show, we highlight the skyline a lot. That's purposeful because we want the show to look like New York, LA, Chicago. And on the production end, you have to be relentless. You have to be a sociopath. You have to show up every single day. You have to be consistent, and you have to fight. You have to beg. You have to borrow. You have to barter. And then you just have to get a team around you to help execute the idea. I had the vision, the idea, and my job as a creator and a director, and any person that is a creator director, find the resources, find the folks, put them together, let them go be great. Don't try to restrain them or limit their creativity, but let them be great and let them make your vision better than you ever envisioned.
Okay. All right. To my actors, a lot of actors here in Dallas, a lot of actors in Texas. You have any kind of, I wouldn't say advice, but I'd say just words to speak to somebody who might be looking at this like the same way? I can't do that here. I have to go to Chicago to do theater, LA to do movies, New York to do TV, except Atlanta. But you guys are finding success here. Could you talk a little bit about that mind state and like what that means to you to just be a local artist producing local art?
I would say it is a little bit harder because in Dallas we are a smaller market, but we do have work here. My advice is to start where you're at. If you're in a small market, start there, because when you get out to LA, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, all these other bigger markets, it's hard. Like I know actors who were in LA for like 2 years and they came back to Dallas because they just were not getting work, or it's so competitive. It's so much harder. Start building a foundation in a smaller market first, if you can, and then you can branch out, build up your resume and take classes. That is the most important thing. A lot of people think it's, oh, let me get my headshots, or what can I do to get in the commercial? It's like, but are you even good? Like, have you started taking your classes? Like, do that. That is the most important thing that I would say. But yeah, just there's nothing wrong with starting in a smaller market first. You got to start somewhere. I mean, if you bold enough to start in LA, please do your thing. Me personally, I'm gonna stay here first, do what I gotta do, and then I'm gonna branch out.
Right. I mean, and I would say, as a less experienced actor who's really been, blessed to even be a part of this whole thing to begin with, I think that it's important to understand how much easier it is to stand out in a place where this isn't going on everywhere around you. It's better, A, for your confidence, because, actors are super sensitive. But it's also better just to be able to get more opportunities, get more reps in, and there's talent everywhere. You just have to, keep looking and finding, like-minded talent and talented people and people to learn from, aside from going to classes, picking projects that, have that team that allows you to add something to your repertoire every time you go out. So you don't have to, you don't have to call LA. LA calls you. New York calls you. You can do that here that's the benefit of being, that's the great thing about the internet. Everyone is everywhere all at once, right? So, focus on getting good, being good, making quality material, and then the rest of that stuff will work itself out.
All right. And I guess I can I won't close it here, but that's my kind of conclusionary statement / comment is, so I love what y'all are saying about build the brand here, do that here. What does it take to, once you got it, move somewhere like Amazon? Because I've seen a few decent web series here and there. They haven't done what you've done. They're still on YouTube 7 years ago, no new projects, no new seasons. So can you talk about a little bit about the drive and some of the maybe challenges to getting your work on a bigger scale?
Yeah, I think as far as my approach is, I'm never comfortable. I'm never okay with where I'm at right now. I'm extremely proud of season 2 and season 1, and especially season 2, but I'm not proud. I'm not satisfied with just that, right? And so it's always about pushing the envelope, trying to get better in every single phase. But when it comes to Amazon, they have a track for independent creators. It's just about jumping through the hoops, and sticking with it. When I first went down that path, because we didn't start off on Amazon, we started off on Vimeo, and then we went to YouTube, and then we were on Instagram, we were on IGTV and Facebook. We were just jumping around trying to figure out what worked best. And eventually I got in contact with Amazon, and it took a while. I almost gave up. And that's kind of been the case with Wash. It's like every single phase, there's been, roadblocks, and, there's been no's. There's been a lot of no's. As a filmmaker, you get so many no's, but you know what? There's a path to yes. You just got to find that path, and don't let that no stop you in your tracks. And that's been the Washed way. As Hardy, he's on the production team, he's on writing. Even Brittany sees it a bit from the acting side. It's like there are obstacles in our way, and we won't stop. And I don't know what other creators are experiencing in their life or whatever, and what makes them not take that next step. But it could be the fact that the roadblock got too big and they weren't able to get past it.
Yeah, you got to have a mean pivot game. When you're doing this independently, your pivot game's got to be on point, firing on all cylinders at all time, because there isn't much time. There's only a small window that we can keep people's attention. And Jerod spearheaded the whole path to Amazon, and it's a frustrating process, and the trick is to keep going. The trick is to keep going, keep finding different avenues, like he said, because nobody's gonna make it easy for anyone. Because why give away the game?
Okay. My last question is, so with Wash season 2, and I'm hoping there's a new season of some sort in the works or something's happening, but let's say that that happens. Is there any plans to let's say produce some new talent? Like maybe there's someone who has this great idea, and now you've got some actors, you've got some talented people behind the camera. Maybe you could actually take more of an executive producer role and breed more talent. Is that something that you were thinking about at all?
I will say one thing I'm proud of is that in season 1, we took a lot of, in season 1, we were just trying to scrap to get by. You had a pulse, you could speak, we could hear you. Like we just made it happen. In season 2, we had a much more polished team. And what that is that's building it. We built an ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So my agency, the Creative Couch, we're trying to build an ecosystem of creators and a team and a bench of folks that we can call on and say, hey, we have this project, and keep building talented people and keep building. I use an affectionate term, and those people are called killers. People that won't stop at anything. And this is their dream. Like, I remember our very first meeting. I don't know if Brittany was there. Byron, you might have been there. Very first meeting, season 2. I used some choice language, which I won't use here, but I said, I am going to give it my all. every single phase of this project, because if I don't make it, I'm going to be messed up. And I use stronger language to that, but I said I'm going to be messed up. And so, yes, down the line, we've already started reaching out to writers and creators and trying to prepare post-pandemic to have those projects ready to go. When I haven't been doing post-production and wash, I started writing my next TV series. The pilot is almost rough draft. I'm really trying to figure out the structure and what it's like. But yeah, so we want to create an ecosystem here in Dallas of creators. And one of the things, to go back to my original point, we've seen people that didn't have experience in television and film who want to be on other projects. So they started off on Watch. I taught them everything I knew because I'm an open book. I'll let you know whatever I want. I taught them what I knew and gave them whatever game I could, and people saw that and brought them onto their project. So that's the beautiful thing. I'm a sports guy. When a head coach sees his assistant coaches or his interns get pulled off into other projects, you're like, yo, that's Lil Bro. Now he's doing big things. So I'm proud of that, and I see the future because we built the blueprint. We have the blueprint in place. The blueprint is always evolving, and I see that future like creating a lot of content.
Well, if we can help in any of that way, let us know because we got a little platform, and we would like to see maybe even some independent content be streamed through our stream, and create that kind of stuff. So I'm like really just kind of in awe of what you've done as we try to build our little media brand too. So lots of my questions were coming from just how'd you do it? What? So I really do appreciate your time and thank you all for just being here with us, doing the good work and just giving back as you've done.
Yeah, we thank you for having us and supporting us. It's truly an honor.
And if people wanted to find Wash Season 1 and check out Wash Season 2, how can they do that?
Washedseries.com. Washedseries.com is the website. We are offering pre-orders on Season 2 as we speak, and you'll get access to some exclusive content as well. We will be on Amazon, but Washedseries.com is where you get the full Washed experience.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank you all for joining us. We wish you the much continued success in your careers and, of course, this filmmaking process. I am Patrick Washington from the Dallas Weekly. You can find all of the Wash branding and how to get to them on our site on Dallas Weekly on any of the pages that you see the banners, and also on our social we'll be promoting that. So if you feel like you need to, you should. Please check it out. And next time we'll see you, we'll have new guests and new ideas to share. Thank you.